साल 9 से 90 मास 9 हुए, रसूल को जप रूहल्ला मिशल गाजियो, सैया उतरे तब रूहल्ला मिशल गाजियो, सैया उतरे तब साल 9 से 90 मास 9। बोलिए श्री धाम के धनी की जय। We talked about the three different leelas of Sri Krishna. We talked about three distinctions in Ras Leela. We call it Ras Putrida Ved, the three distinct Ras Leelas. We talked about the four-level matrix of Akshara's mind: Man, Buddhi, Chitta, and Aham. I probably used a wrong word saying Ahankara the other day. We call it Aham. It is the identity. It is the essence of our existence. Aham, the egoity, not ego in the sense that it gives a negative connotation. He is so egoistic. No, it is not in that regard. But it is in regards to which I exist. The existence of me happens because there is life inside me. Aham is the deepermost inner conscience, the deepermost part of our manifest mind, the deepermost mind that we all have. We call it Aham, because of which we exist. It protects, it covers, is the holding path for our soul, because of which we exist. The world exists around us. The day life is sucked out of us, there is no me, there is no mind, there is no world around me. So everything exists because of that soul, and Aham is nothing but the holding part. So Man, Buddhi, Chitta, and Aham. And we talked about where the Ras Leela was eternalized. The Ras Leela was eternalized in the Buddhi Antahakaran. The Antahakaran, the wisdom or intellect Antahakaran of Akshara Brahma. That is where it was eternalized. Eternalized in the sense that it is happening there. That the Leela that Akshara Brahma and the Sakhis witnessed, Akshara Brahma participated as well. The consorts participated with Raji, is where it is happening. It is never to be forgotten. Like I said yesterday, the most beautiful and precious moments of our lives are never forgotten. It is stored in our memory. And whatever is stored in the memory, those things are happening there subconsciously. It's happening there. They are there recorded. Similarly, the Ras Leela is eternalized in the wisdom intellect, wisdom part of Akshara's mind. So we talked about three distinctions of Ras yesterday. One, it is where it actually happened, in the Chittaha Antahakaran, in the subconscious action or the memory part of Akshara Brahma, in the Keval Dham. The next distinction is the Ras where it was eternalized. And the third one is in this world, in Vrindavan, India, where the power of Akshara Brahma, the spirit of Akshara Brahma, participated in the eternal dance, in the dance with the Ved Richa Sakhis. So these are the three distinctions of Ras that very few understand. Mahamati Prananath ji states that only through the understanding of Tartam one understands this distinction. However, we find reference to this reality in other scriptures. In Sadasiva Samhita it states, Nasya Jnanam Brahma Srishtim Bina Kasyapi Jayate. It is only the Brahma Srishtis, the consorts of the Lord Supreme, that are cognizant of this reality. That Akshara Brahma Hridaya Vastavim Viddhi Sankari. Nityam Vrindavane yacha sasmrita prativasiki braja bhumyam saya lila saprokta vyavariki. They come up with three different terms. One is the Vastavik, the real one. And the next one is Prativasiki, which is the reflected one. And the one that happened in the world is not the eternal one, it is the Vyavariki, a practical one, if that is the correct translation. In lack of a better word, we'll understand it as that happened in this world. So there are three distinctions of Ras Leelas. So we also talked about what happened when Sri Krishna disappeared from Vrindavan and why it happened. That is where the teachings of Bhagavata ends. When we ask Sri Krishna to be away for a moment, when Radharani asked Sri Krishna to carry her with him, when he was going away from Sakhis for a moment, to play the flute so that we could experience and relive the moment of running away from our homes to be with Sri Krishna. We talked about the disappearance of Lord Sri Krishna and what ensued afterwards. We talked about the Anukaran Leela, the Sakhis, the consorts performing the Leelas that happened in Braja, leading up to the playing a flute by Sri Krishna after 52 days of separation. And when Sri Krishna reappears, and before that, Akshara eternalizes the Ras Leela because he wanted to witness the Leelas between Raji Maharaj and Sakhis when he saw us this morning in Paramdham. Akshara mana upajiye asa, dekhu dhaniji ko prema vilas. Because he was unaware of the fact that these consorts even exist, let alone the Leelas of Paramdham, let alone the romantic, the divine love relationship between Raji and these consorts. Aksharati take moholame prema isaka vartata so shuddha akshar kunahi kina veda kela karat. He was incognizant of the eternal Leelas of Paramdham. As such, he eternalized it in his buddhi antahakaran. And he also eternalized the Leelas of Braja because that Leela was carried out by Aksharatita himself with the same consorts. We talked about the eternality of Rasa, why it is eternal. We also talked about the timeline of Rasa, the time of Rasa, the length of Ras Leela. And we said that it was supernaturally, divinely stressed to an equivalent to a night of Brahmaji, which totals about 4.32 billion years. And even further matter also, we said Ras Leela could not have happened, the eternal one, for that matter, could not have happened in this world, because if that was the case, the world would have noticed. Nobody survives for 4.32 billion years in this world. So it should have happened somewhere else. And we said that Ras Leela did not happen in this world, did not happen in Paramdham. Garathi Tita Brahmandathi Alago. So it was happened in the Chittaha Antaha Karan of Akshar Brahma in Keval Dham. We talked about the three distinctions of Ras Leela yesterday. And after Ras Leela, Sri Krishna asked us, Lord Sri Krishna asked us, our Dhani asked us, Raji asked us, do you have any other things that you would like to do? Do you have anything you want me to do? And we asked him, Habe balahu etala magu khina eka lagana thaye jiha ame braha nahi chalo dekharatai. We asked Sri Krishna that the separation that we felt in Braja and Ras was too tough for us to bear. As such, please take us to a place where we do not have to be away from you. Take us to a place where there is always the divine unity, where there is non-duality, where we can have your constant presence. Brahma Ratra Upavriti Vasudeva Numodita Anichantyo Yoyur Gopya Sogrihan Bhagavad Priya. The Bhagavad Mahapurana states the same fact. That since this consort did not want to return to Gokula, their worldly homes, they returned to their original abode, Paramdham and Akshardham respectively, for the consorts of Aksharatit Sri Krishna and the consorts of Akshara Brahma. We talked about that yesterday. Now let's move on. So we return to Paramdham, yet these Gopiyas are running towards Vrindavan in this world. The world had stopped. So with the power of Sri Raji Maharaj, the world is moved again, started again. The world of Kalmaya, where Lord is away, Paramatma is away from the world, from us. So it is the next universe. It's a different universe, but nobody realizes it as such. Because I gave you a reference yesterday, I gave you a reference of a watch, a wristwatch. When you take a battery out of it, it stops moving. I told you, if I take the battery out at 3 p.m. today and put it back in 3 p.m. tomorrow, when I see it the next day, the clock is working fine. I would not realize that a day has been missing. It feels like the clock is working fine and it is the same day. Similarly, Upaje Aure Jane Soi Brahmanda, nobody realized that it was a different world, but it was, because we went from Kalmaya to Yogmaya and back to Kalmaya again. So the Sri Krishna that is playing flute in Vrindavan here in this world does not have the spirit of Aksharatit Sri Krishna Raji Maharaj, because it returned to Paramdham. In the Gopiya, the spirit of the consorts of Aksharatit no longer is there. It is not there any longer. Because Anichanta Yoyur Gopya Sogrihan Bhagavad Priya, they receive the grace of Aksharatit Sri Krishna and be one with him in Paramdham. Their spirit is no longer here in this world. So the power in Sri Krishna is that of Akshara Brahma, Golokiya Sakti, and the Vishnu incarnate. There are two powers in Sri Krishna. The spirit of Akshara's consorts are back in Akshardham as well. So this Gopiya does not have the spirit of either the consorts of Paramdham or the consorts of Akshardham. They are just the gopis. Now, the world is moved again, and we talked about the verses of Vedas. There are 4 Vedas in the world and 5 Vedas in the Man Antahakarana of Akshara Brahma. These verses of Vedas are in divine form, in the form of the soul. So they requested Lord Sri Krishna, they begged, they prayed for their participation in the Leelas like the one they saw in the Buddhi Antahakaran of Akshara Brahma, the eternal Ras Leela, where it was eternalized. So the spirit of Bedricha entered the bodies of Gopiya here in this world. And with Akshara Brahma's power, with Akshara Brahma's spirit residing within Sri Krishna, these Vedrisas participated in the Ras Leela in this world. But like we said, it is not the eternal one. It cannot be the eternal one. The eternal one was there in the mind of Akshara Brahma, is happening in the mind of Akshara Brahma. It is something that Akshar Brahma would always remember, because it is the Leela of Aksharatit. It is the Leela of the Lord Supreme that he anticipates having the glimpse of every morning. It constantly happens in his heart. The only distinction is, unlike the minds where stored memories have to be refreshed, recollected, and reminded in this world for us, our memories are not happening in this world, but they have to be reminded. Oh, do you remember what happened when you came to the United States for the first time? And we get to that moment. It is stored. It is not being constantly playing in our mind. However, the memory of Akshar Brahma functions a little differently. It's happening there. As such, there is Nitya Ras Leela, where Lord Sri Krishna plays with eternal Leelas in his heart. Dear Sundar Satsi, after Ras Leela was over, the one in this world where even Lord Mahadeva got a chance to participate, Sri Krishna returned to Gokula along with the Gopiyas. He stays in Gokul for 7 days. After that, the relatives of Sri Krishna, Akrur, comes to Gokula to invite him to the kingdom of Kamsa in Mathura. And everybody knows that Krishna is the slayer of Kamsa. Krishna is going to kill Kamsa and reestablish Dharma. So when he goes towards Mathura, Yashoda Maya, the sons of Gopiya, and everyone is a little bit anxious because they do not know what unfolds. Kamsa had already sent numbers of demons to kill Krishna, and in that course, a lot of the residents of Braja had to suffer, endure the death of their kids and many other things. So they were a little anxious. Radharani meets Sri Krishna along the way when he was going towards Mathura. Krishna promises that he would return to Gokul in 4 days. I would promptly return to you, says Sri Krishna. He goes to Mathura. He has a fight with Kamsa, his maternal uncle, and slays him, as predicted before. Sri Krishna then re-established Ugrasen, the father of Kamsa, as the king of Mathura, who was imprisoned by Kamsa to be the king. Releases Vasudeva and Devaki from the palace dungeon, and he starts wearing the attire, royal attire, giving up the one of the cow maid. A cow taker, Gopala, Gwalwal Vesh. He renounces that and wears the royal attire. As soon as he does that, the spirit of Goloki Sri Krishna, the power of Goloki Sri Krishna, returns to Golokam. So the Sri Krishna that is there only has the power of Vaikuntanath, of Lord Vishnu. जब राज बाग को कियो शिनगारा तब बल पराक्रम न रह्यो लगा. The power of Akshara Brahma, the power of Golokiya Sri Krishna is no longer there in the body of Sri Krishna. As we said, Sri Krishna promised Radha that he would return in 4 days. After slaying Kamsa, releasing his mother and dad, Vasudeva and Devaki, from the royal dungeon, he does not return to Gokul. He fails to keep the promise. In the bank of Radha, in the bank of Yamuna, Radharani anxiously awaits the arrival of Sri Krishna. There is a song in one of the movie that captures the feeling of Radharani. कर गया कान्हा मिलन का वादा, जमुना किनारे खड़ी है कब से राधाना, अब तक आई मिलन की राह, अब तक आई मिलन की राह. In the banks of Yamuna, Radharani is anxiously awaiting the meeting with Sri Krishna, the union with Sri Krishna. He promises that, yet, Abataka Aina Milan Kiran. The day has not come, the night has not come, the moment has not come that she could meet Sri Krishna. Sri Krishna stays in Mathura for 14 years under Satsi. Sri Krishna does not return to Gopal. Sri Krishna, who is eternally connected to Radha, he does not come once to Gokula to meet her. And Radharani, who could go to Mathura to meet Sri Krishna, never goes to Mathura either. Because in her mind, Sri Krishna is the one who promised to turn back, to come back. He does not. She awaits and awaits and awaits. She cries all through the nights, awaiting Krishna's arrival, but he does not. Krishna seems to be a little merciless here. Yet the reality is unknown to many scholars, because as we know that Radha was cursed in Golokadhama, that she had to endure 100 years of separation from Sri Krishna. Sri Krishna resides within Radha, but physically she had to endure the absence of Sri Krishna in her life. Sri Krishna marries Rukmini. Sri Krishna marries 8 other queens, and he rescues 16,100 princes that were taken by Ragasura, one of the demons. But Sri Krishna and Radha never meet again in this world. After 100 years of separation, the spirit of Radha returns to Golokadhama. So, after 11 years and 52 days, the power of Aksharatit Sri Krishna returns to Paramdham. After 11 more days, the power of Akshara returns to Golokdham. And Sri Krishna Leela, the Vishnu incarnation, performed different Leela for 125 years in total. He remains in this world. And it is during that time the great war of Mahabharata happens. As you know, that the righteous Pandavas and evil Kauravas battle it out in the great war of Mahabharata. And before the war begins, the excitement of Arjuna to fight off the evil Kauravas come to a standstill, because he saw in the opposing army Bhishma Pitamaha, his relatives, his dear ones. He is ready to give up his arms. He pleads to Sri Krishna, how can I kill my own people to be the ruler, to be the king? And Sri Krishna, in his teachings, encourages Arjuna to fight, because he is fighting for freedom. He is fighting for the establishment of Dharma, re-establishment of Dharma, preservation of Dharma. And in doing that, he's not actually killing anyone, because the soul cannot be slain. Soul never dies. It is only the body, it dies anyway. So you are not technically killing anyone. So the teachings of Bhagavad Gita is compiled in these 700 verses. Once the war is over, after the Pandavas' victory, Arjuna asked Sri Krishna, the teachings that you gave me before the war began was so divine. But during the course of the war happens for 18 days. Arjuna says, I've forgotten everything basic. Can you please reveal those teachings one more time? Sri Krishna says, Nacha sakyam tanmaya bhuyak tatha bhaktum aseshata param hi brahma kathitam yoga yuktena chetasa. In fact, hey Arjuna, I was not the one telling you the secrets of Bhagavad Gita. I was not the one revealing those divine teachings. Lord Supreme was residing within me, and it happened. That is why, if you look at Bhagavad Gita, there you find the references of Paramdham. There you find the reference of Ananya Bhakti. There you find some transcendent knowledge embedded within. The deepest secrets of human existence, the deepest secrets of life, the secrets of Sri Krishna Leela, the concept of three Purushas. Chera Sarvani Bhutani Kutastu Akshara Uchyate Uttamha Purushastu Anye Paramatmiti Udharita. Only the Uttam Purush is considered as Paramatma. The concept embedded in the 15th chapter of Purushottam Yoga that contains the transcendent understanding. Lord Sri Krishna, the Vishnu incarnate, says it was not me who revealed that teachings to you. It was the Lord Supreme who resided within me, dear Chandraji. The teachings of Gita happens that way. Sri Krishna rescues 16,100 princes from demon Narakasura, who conquered 3 worlds, heaven, earth, and underworld. On earth, he captures these princes from those defeated nations. Sri Krishna had to rescue, and they had nowhere to go, because since he rescued, they would not be able to marry anyone else. So Sri Krishna had to take care of them. So it is believed that Sri Krishna, the Vishnu incarnate, had 16,108 queens. After 125 years of Leelas, Sri Krishna leaves this world. And that is the beginning of Kali Yuga, the Iron Age, the age of vices, the age of evil, where there will be very few righteous people. And the evil is ended when there is the incarnation of Buddha Niskalanka Avatar. The arrival of Buddha Avatar, Satguru Devchandraji, is anticipated by the whole world, whose life is what we're going to study next. After the Ras Leela was over, the power of Aksharati Sri Krishna comes to Arab. Ras Leela Khelake Aaye Bararabhashanam. It is hard for some people to agree on, to believe that. However, Prophet Muhammad had the spirit of Raji Maharaj entering in him. For what? In order to lay a foundation for the arrival of Imam Mahdi, as well as the arrival of Mu'mins, the consorts of Lord Supreme. The transcendent knowledge was coming to the world to rescue the world from perennial suffering and awaken them from the cosmic ignorance. As such, the foundation had to be laid, the stage had to be set. The effulgence of Tartam, the revelation was meant for everyone. As such, Lord Supreme set the foundation for those who didn't believe in Vedic scriptures. In the teachings of Quran, the significance of penance, prayers, virtuous actions, and all other things for that matter were given. In Quran, there is 6 days of creation mentioned. Mahamati Prananath explains them as Braja. The first day Braja, second day Ras, third day is the life of Prophet Muhammad. The fourth day is the life of Isa, Satguru Shree Devchandraji. Fifth day is the life of Mahamati Prananath, and sixth day is Qayamat. It is the awakening of souls in Paramdham. 6 days of creation. Prophet Muhammad predicted that the next day, tomorrow, is the day of awakening, reckoning of the soul, the Qayamat, the dissolution of the world. Rabba ke ek din duni ke saal hazar. So one day of Lord is equivalent to 1,000 years. So tomorrow would be the day of reckoning. Tomorrow would be the day of awakening. Prophet Muhammad lived for 63 years in this world. The knowledge of the beyond is revealed to him. But he was told that only the ritualistic knowledge is to be revealed to the world. Sariyat and Tariqat, it's stated, is understood according to Quranic terms. But the understanding of the Lord, the total understanding of the Lord, is to be revealed by the Lord himself. Dear Sundarsaji, he was told 90,000 words, but he was allowed to reveal only 30,000 of them. The words of rituals. You have to pray 5 times a day. You have to go to Makkah on your pilgrimage. You have to give alms to the poor. You have to fast for a month to prove your devotion and loyalty to Allah. These ritualistic understandings or teachings were revealed by Prophet Muhammad. The understanding of the reality of the beyond, Hakikat, Lord told him, Raji Maharaj told him, reveal it to that soul, reveal it to only those souls who are truly meek, humble, and whose heart is pure. The understanding of such reality is revealed to his grandson. And the knowledge of Marfat, absolute understanding, the transcendent understanding, is something that I would reveal myself. You just keep that in your mind. Mahamati Prananath says through Laldasi in the 5th chapter of Beetak, Yah katha bahut hai bistar nahi sumar, par ye chauthi din ki sayyan karo bichar. The 3rd day, the story of Prophet Muhammad's life is too much for everyone to understand. So pay attention to the 4th day of creation. That is the life of Satguru Shree Devchandraji. As Prophet Muhammad predicted that tomorrow is the day of reckoning, tomorrow is the day of awakening. And he said tomorrow is after 1,000 years in worldly time. So, Saal 990 Maas 9 hua Rasul Jabba. So after 990 years of Muhammad's passing, the arrival of moments, the arrival of the consorts of the Lord Supreme happens in this world yet again. First, we came in Braja. Second, we went to Ras. And this is the world of awakening. We call it by the term Jaganiko Brahmanda. It is the world of awakening. And in Braja and Ras, we did not recognize the Lord Supreme. We didn't know who we were. We forgot Paramdham in the Leelas of Paramdham, the pastimes of Paramdham. But in this Jaganese Leela, there are some distinctions. In Braja Leela, Sri Krishna was with us. In Ras Leela, Sri Krishna was with us. We were always surrounded by him and his presence. But in Jaganese Leela, we are here in this world with different beliefs, different cultures, different customs, with different religious practices and spiritual inclinations. Some of the consorts of Paramdham in this world of awakening have come believing in Hinduism, some believing in Islam, some believing in Christianity, some non-believing, not believing in any religious traditions or religious scriptures. न जाने इस झुंड में कौन सुहागिन होए says Mahamati. Dear Sundar Saji, after 990 years of Muhammad's passing, in the year 1638, in the month of Asoj, in the full moon Chaudasa Tithi, Devchandraji comes to this world. Sambat 1638 Asoj Sudi Chaudasa ko Janma Din Sri Devchandraji Aaye Pragati Marwadu. In Sindh province, in today's Pakistan, in the city of Umarkot, in 1638, Devchandraji was born. The prediction was there. The arrival of Satguru Sri Devchandraji Maharaj was made in different scriptures because with him, the door to moksha was going to be opened for all. Maheshwar Tantra, Bhagwan Mahesh, Lord Mahesha tells Parvati that Dibya Brahma Purashya Brahma Dvaitasya Vashana Tasa Amekasa Parama Subhaga Sundari Priya Maruddese Kule Shuddhe Nirupam Sadharishyati Chandranama Bhumam Loki Harisyatya Subham Gati. From the divine abode of Paramdham, the souls of the Lord, living in non-duality, will descend upon the earth as human beings. Among those would be the leading and the dearest soul, who would appear in the desert town and would be known to the world as Devachandra. And he is the one who would liberate all the souls in the world by cleansing their sins. Dear Sundar Saji, the predictions, the prophecies of the arrival of Buddha Avatar, the arrival of Isa, the arrival of Satguru Sri Devchandraji was predicted long before. That is why we are studying the life of Satguru Sri Devchandraji, who is as well the founder of Sri Krishna Pranami Faith Nijananda sect. The teachings of Tartam come through Devchandraji Maharaj. The transcendent understanding becomes eminent to this world, widely available to the world because of his penance, because of his sadhana, because of his perseverance. Dear Sundar Saji, that is the reason why we are studying the life of Devchandraji Maharaj, that we give the title of Sadguru to. The immanence of transcendence happens because of him. Besumara lyaya sumara me. What was transcendent prior? What was misconstrued, misunderstood before his arrival was to become transparent, clear, widely understood. We ask few questions. Why is there suffering in this world? Why did God create the world in such a way it is now? Why does not God intervene when the helpless suffer? Why does not God interfere when innocent lives are taken by the evil-minded ones? The questions as such triggers his mind. He pursues the Lord Supreme. He pursues who he is. He constantly tries to find answers to these questions because with the understanding that is coming through him, the world is going to find a way to liberation, to moksha. Dear Sundar Saji, this, the life of Satguru Devchandraji, would be the part of discussion going forward. So from tomorrow onwards, we will look into the Leelas of Satguru Sri Devchandraji, the childhood, his pursuit of the Lord Supreme, his pursuit of self-realization. Hope you are getting to know a little bit more about the process of creation, Mahakarana, Krishna's Tridha Lila. There are three distinctions of Ras Lila, and all those intricate subjects that many in the world are unaware of. So thank you for being with us. Thank you for listening to this discourse.